Hey guys, it's Rich with another Tarot Talk Tuesday. In this video, I am doing a deck review and reveal of the Tarot of the Hidden Realm by Julia Jeffrey and Barbara Moore. I think Julia Jeffrey did the artwork and Barbara Moore wrote the book. So this is produced by Llewellyn and it is copyright 2013. So let's go ahead and get on into it. The box is a magnetic hinged hard cardboard box, so always appreciated. They did give a nice little ribbon so you can get your book and your deck out. Much appreciated whenever people do that. And yeah, cards actually sit in there fairly nicely. Llewellyn stepped up their game on this one. I have no complaints about the packaging, so let's go ahead and set that aside. Getting into the book, at least for me on this deck, you will definitely need the book, at least for me. And just so you guys know, I tried to do this video before and it wasn't working. At the very end, my battery went dead whenever I got to the Pentacles. It was like I started with the Ace of Pentacles and I'm like, oh, I'll just shoot just that part, that ending part of that video, and I forgot to turn my mic on, and then I shuffled them all over and yeah. So they're all out of order, so I have to put them back in order and then reshoot everything because it just ticked me off so much. Anyway, let's get into this book. So we have a dedication, we have acknowledgments from both people, we have an artist notes, greetings, we have an introduction, what is the tarot, what is the hidden realm, and I'm just flipping through here. I had notes for this, but yeah, I'm not looking at them right now. And let's see what it goes into. Reading essentials, the importance of philosophy, why are you doing the reading, who can you read for, what is the role, what is your role as a reader, a step-by-step, purpose of the reading, the spread, shuffling, laying out the cards. So this is really good, and then it says interpreting the cards. This is really good if you're just now getting started into tarot, or you're not very comfortable with tarot, that you're just beginning. So nicely done on the first 28 pages. Then it goes into the major arcana, and it gives you I'd say that's probably about a full page of text. It gives you about a half a page worth of picture. So not in color, but you know what? I can take that or leave it. I'm not seeing reversals, and some of them it gives like a page and a half. So yeah, you get some substantial information. And like I said, for me on this one, I would definitely need the book for this one. Let's see what it has for the minors. Minors has the same setup, about a page and a half worth of text, page to page and a half. And one thing I'll say about this is some of the guys in this deck are nice. So anyway, and part 3 is entitled Dancing, and then it goes into, basically that is you dancing with the fairies. So awesome. I love that they put that in there. I didn't read it in its entirety, so take it as that. Then they go into spreads, and they give 1, 2, 3, 4. So nicely done. 4 different spreads. I like it. Some of them are 3-card spreads, which I mean you see in a lot of them. There's a 4-card spread, a 7-card spread, and what looks like a 3-6 card spread. So yeah, some of them I've seen before, some I might have seen before, but I can't recollect. So yeah, nicely done on the spreads. And then it talks about fairy guides in chapter 6. And it talks about visiting with the fairies, and during your visits, new moon journey, partnerships, so and a farewell from the artist and author, and then an about. So nicely done. I really would like to try some of the exercises in this. That's very intriguing to me. So, nicely done book. I have very low complaints, except I wish they would have put it in reversals, but they might actually even mention why they didn't put it in here, or it might be in there and I skimmed over it. So, if I did, then in the future, I will go ahead and put in a video talking about, hey, I was wrong on this. But on first glance, it doesn't look like they did, so that's what I'm going to go with. If you guys have already read this book and you know for a fact that they did, go ahead and leave a comment down below so other people will know. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into the actual reveal and the comparison between the Tarot of the Hidden Realm and the Rider-Waite-Smith, side by side, as you do. So, on down to the nether regions. Okay, like I said, nice little flip-top box. Really no complaints about that. Way to go, Llewellyn. I like that you stepped up your game on this one. Or whoever's input that was. I like that. Nice, long book. Lots to really look into in this book because these cards are not necessarily your normal Rider-Waite-Smith type of scenery. So, but I'm getting ahead of myself on that. Let's look at the size of the cards. You have a card that's a little bit shorter than the Rider-Waite-Smith, but it is maybe a hair longer than the Rider-Waite-Smith. Not the exact same size, but very close. So, should not be too hard to shuffle. I've already shuffled these once, and I cannot remember how well they were to shuffle. I don't think they were that bad. They are already borderless, so you don't have to worry about doing a borderectomy, if that is something that you do. The thickness of the deck, it is about the same thickness as the Rider-Waite-Smith. It might be a little bit thinner. It's the same type of cardstock that the Steampunk Tarot and other Llewellyn style decks come in. I'm not too thrilled with the quality of their cardstock. I wish they had them a little bit more beefed up, but that's just me. For some reason, the cardstock for the Rider-Waite-Smith seems to hold up a little bit better than what this type of cardstock does. So I don't know what that's about. I'm not a cardstock expert, so I don't know if it has something to do with the processing or whatever, but I don't know. So it's the same type of cardstock that you get with the Steampunk Tarot or your normal Llewellyn style decks or Llewellyn published decks. They seem to use the same type of cardstock for all their decks. So anyway, getting into the cards. Now, like I said, with this deck, and you're going to see a lot of shirtless men. That's definitely something that I appreciate, especially with some of them. But I don't think there's a lot of nude female cards in here. So, like I was saying before, I will need to use the book for this deck, at least to see what their reasoning is behind some of the individuals in the deck and some of the scenes in this deck, because it doesn't necessarily follow the Rider-Waite-Smith like a lot of other decks do. There's a lot of close-ups of individual people, and just so you guys know that some of the major arcana have their names changed, so that's something to note. But like Justice, she doesn't have her usual scales, so stuff like that. And like I said, really appreciating some of the shirtless guys. Just my thing. But yeah, there's some points in here that are not your common Rider-Waite symbolism. So that's definitely something to note whenever you're looking at this deck and thinking about getting it. The images are like really close-up pictures of the individual people or the individual fairy folk. And okay, there is a nude female on the world card, so yeah. I did notice that there was not a lot of diversity in this deck, and one thing to note before I get back to that topic is all the aces have a different animal on the ace card, so I did not notice a lot of diversity in this deck, but they are fairies, so you know, I can see that reasoning behind it. But, you know, who's to say that fairies are not of different skin tones? So, yeah, that's something that I was thinking about whenever I was first going through this deck. Some of this I can immediately see the connection between this deck and the Rider-Waite Smith. Some of it is not really catching my eye, so to speak. I think the artwork is beautiful. I do want to make that clear. It's just that the scenes on here are not exactly in line with your typical Rider-Waite Smith setup. So, at least not immediately noticeable, let's say. It's probably the best way to word it. Nice 9 of Wands. I like otters. I really do. I think they are so fun. I think there's a lot to learn from an otter. Really liking that 8 of Cups. Now, another thing I wanted to point out is with the knights, you don't know whether or not they are on a steed of some sort, whether it be a horse or whatnot. So I know that's a point that some people like to have, either the knight being on the horse or off the horse. In this one, you just simply don't know. Because it gives you that close-up view. I know Arwen was talking about in one of her videos, there is a difference whether or not somebody is on the horse or not on the horse. That's something I've not heard before until she brought it up. So I'd like to, think about that a little bit more and see if that resonates with me. So that is the Tarot of the Hidden Realm. Let's see how it shuffles. Very easily. This is how bad my memory is. I don't know if I said whether or not the backs are reversible. They are not. Again, I really don't usually look at the back of my cards, but you can definitely tell a reversal or not. So something to keep in mind if you are one of those who look at the backs of your cards whenever you're putting them into a spread. Not really hard to shuffle on the bridge shuffle or on the sideways shuffle. Yeah. I think I'm going to like this once I actually go through and read the book that corresponds with this deck, because like I said, this does not necessarily speak to me as a Nine of Swords, a traditional Nine of Swords. So for me, that's the one hang-up that I have on this deck. I think the artwork is beautiful. I think that having a borderless deck is beautiful. I have a couple borderless decks now, and I think that's something that's just that little bit extra that adds to your reading sometimes. So that will go in here until I get a chance to go through and read the book and go through the deck and learn more and connect more with it. So yeah, whenever you're putting your books away, and I don't know if other people do this as well, but whenever it has a ribbon in here, just a little tip, if you have it like that so it'll bring the deck up, and then you cross it over here if you have enough ribbon to do so, and then put your book down, then you won't have that trouble getting your book out. So just a little tip for you guys out there that keep your decks and books and all that together. I usually don't, especially if it's a primary reading deck or one of my primary reading decks. I do have something that I want to do with all the boxes of the decks that I do read with on a regular basis. So yeah, this, if it becomes one of those decks that I read with on a regular basis, then I will definitely show you, and I probably will show you with the other ones as well, something that you can do with your deck boxes if you choose not to keep your cards in the box itself. So that was the Tarot of the Hidden Realm. Like I said, I really like the artwork. I really like the deck. I just wish that they kept more in line with a Rider-Waite-Smith system as far as the scenery and whatnot. But you know what? I like studying decks. I like knowing the why behind what they do whenever it comes to creating the deck, and the method behind why they created certain images to relate to certain cards or archetypes. So that should be fun to ascertain through reading the book. And yeah, so anyway, Tarot of the Hidden Realm by Julia Jeffrey, who does the artwork, and Barbara Moore, who wrote the book, published by Llewellyn. Like I said, good packaging, Llewellyn. Thank you. Keep up this type of packaging. I do like that. If you guys use this deck, let me know how you like it. If you don't use this deck and you would like to use a deck, let me know. If you have any other things that you want to ask or talk about, let me know. Comment section below, as per usual. And that's all that I have for this video. Until next time, may you have love, hugs, and ladybugs. Bye-bye.